Hi, thought I'd do a video today repairing my bike. So last weekend, you might recall, I had a mechanical where I managed to get the Di2 cable there caught in my rear sprocket, and it tore off. So I've been able to source a new cable, and this video is all about putting it in. So I've already done the part where I've taken it all apart. So I've taken off the crank, taken out the bottom bracket, and I've also pulled out all the wires. So with Di2 setups, there is basically there's a junction, but essentially there's a battery that sits up here in the seat post, and that runs down to a junction box, which then splits the wires between the levers and the up the front, and the cables which change the front and rear derailleurs. So just before we start the actual work, just to explain it, so that is the front derailleur. It would normally sit around about there. The front sprocket would sit in there, and the axle of which goes through the bottom bracket and comes out the other side. And the chain obviously goes around that, and then that's what drives the drivetrain. However, because I managed to break it or tear the cable the other weekend, I'm now having to replace all of that. So to get started, firstly, each of these cables had different lengths. So the first thing I had to do was to identify the cable length, which in this case here was 750 millimeters. Luckily, the local bike shop down in Richmond had one in stock. Now, the second part about this, which is quite difficult, is getting the cable to pull through, such that you can then get the other one to come to follow through. Otherwise, it does become a bit difficult, because it becomes a bit of a it sort of becomes a bit difficult because to try and come from the bottom bracket back, it does create a bit of an issue. In this case, however, we will have enough room, I think, to post this down the main tube, and it will then come out the other end. So first things first, we will remove the offending bit of cabling. There's that one there, and take it out of our junction box. So that's it done. We'll get the new cable. There isn't a difference now between the two ends, so simply just post one end through there until it pops out down in the bottom bracket area. So that should, by rights, be coming through about now. Perfect. So that's it there. We'll plug that end into the junction box. Now this can be a little bit tight. There we go. We've got it to click in. And what we'll do for now is we'll just simply post all these back inside. Now, just to explain before I do put in, you'll see that there's a number of cable ties that are attached to each of the cables. That is to basically act as like a force to stop the cables rattling around inside the frame. Fairly low-tech, simple solution, but effective nonetheless. So, first things first, we will post that all back in there. Now, there's no real art to this. It is literally just stuff it back in, because all those little cable ties essentially hold it all out. So, post that back through there like so. Get that all nice, get that all tucked away. Get it out of the way, importantly, of where we're going to have to feed the bottom bracket back through. So that's now done. Second part of this install will involve placing the bottom bracket back in. Now, just double checking. No, so trick with this: place this this is literally just a rubber sheath or a plastic sheath. Not much to it. It is just simply the axle housing for the crank. Post that through, click it into place. Make sure you've properly cleaned out the inside of your inner bottom bracket. You don't often get to do this. It doesn't particularly matter all that much in terms of the mechanical operation, but it's always good to have a clean working surface. So posting that back through there. Now, and then similarly, then placing the other cap on the other side. Now, the trick with this, and I just got to go get another tool. Back again. Trick with this is this tool here. It is basically like a big press. Big long rod screw. Couple of big handles. We'll take it off. We'll take it off this end here, and I'll show you how it all goes. I'll show you how it all goes together. So first things first. If we take it all apart, is that you've got a couple of plastic washers that will go on either end. That will go. I don't think I need that for this job here. Then we've got these two aluminium washers. They will go on either side. They'll slip into the bottom bracket like so. So if we post this end around the top of the bike and through, placing one of these compression tools on one side, and then take the other bottom bracket tool, post it on this side. What that does is just keeps the tool centered, and stops it from pushing these in slightly skewed. Now, this has got a built-in washer on top of it. You can see it on top of the plane there, and we'll just simply turn that on, tighten that up. Till it locks into place, and then it's just simply a case of just very gently and easily winding these in until such time as the bottom bracket has compressed back into place. This is a press fit bottom bracket. Now there are other bottom brackets on the market which are screw fits, which some say they work just as well. Others prefer the press fit. Other than on my commuter bike, I've only ever really had press fit bottom brackets on any of my decent bikes, so I don't really have an opinion either way. I think the one beauty of them is that you put them in dry, because they are a cartridge seal. They're a sealed cartridge for the bearings, and it means that essentially they last as long as the grease remains inside the cartridge. Now I was looking at replacing it this time around because it's been on about a year, but I think I've still got a few miles left in it before I have to replace it. So that is that job done. Bottom bracket is back in. Cabling is there. Now this here, there is a connection piece right at the top there. Now what we will do is actually tape this in eventually as well. So we'll tape it all to everything, but you always want to give it a little bit of slack so it's not too tight holding in, and again just click it into place. And then it's just a case of putting everything back on. So obviously easiest way to do this, make sure you get the chain on the inside of the axle. And you just simply push that into place. Now it'll sit flush, and then we will have to eventually get this into place as well. Just for now, we'll just hang that loose. now. Place that there. There we go. That's just gone in. Going to get one of our smaller Allen keys, and we'll get a 3mm Allen key. And what I'm taking off here are the bolts that hold the front derailleur onto the bike, onto the frame. Oops. So now the front derailleur also has a Di2 cable, which we will connect up in time. But first, we will just get it on. We'll just get it in place first. So the easiest way to do that: get the chain over the top. Get it into place like so, and then it's simply a case of just literally doing these up. Now what I will actually do on this particular one, one sec, is when I was out in Australia recently, I picked myself up some Loctite 243, which is a thread locker. You don't tend to get this stuff over here for some reason. We'll just cut the top off. Like so. Okay. I need a small spot. And we will just coat those threads with a bit of locker. What this will do is just stop it from unwinding itself. So we'll put one in on that side. This thread locker is not a permanent thread locker. It is just simply a holder. So we'll go on one end, and we'll do the same on the other. Now I usually always carry a rag with me, which I think is down in my other pocket. There we go. Tighten those up. We'll just tighten them up there and there. Just perfect. Again, the Di2 cable. Plug that back into the little slot. There we go. Clicked into place. Is great. Now, what we'll do is I will swing this bike around so we can see it from the other side. Now, that is the axle is now through the bottom bracket. This is the left-hand crank. Now, the easiest way to line this up is there's like a little locking. It's basically, if I come up close, you can see inside there is some splines. Now, one of those splines is a thick one, and you just simply line that up with a thick one on top of the crank arm. What that does is make sure the pedals are directly 90 degrees or 180 degrees to each other. And we just push that into place, like so. Perfect. Now, we need we'll grab a 5mm. Allen key. First things first is on these Ultegra setups and Dura-Race setups, there is a little like locking clip. It's like a little circlip that sits underneath the pedal. In fact, what I'll do is I'll get the camera and I'll bring it in nice and close, so you can see what I mean. So this little clip here, that you can see that I'm pointing to, that basically clips over the top of there's 2 bolts. If we come out from this side here, you can see 1 and 2, which comes in from either direction, giving it sort of equal forces from both directions. If we just push that up like so, and then what we'll do is just nip that up, and we'll do the same from this side here. Then what we'll do is we'll torque them up with a proper torque wrench. It's important when doing this sort of stuff to tighten the bolts up evenly on both sides. Now, you have to excuse me, I'm trying to do this one-handed. So there we go. I've already preset the Newton meters on this torque wrench. This is set to 14 Newton meters. And essentially you just do it on both sides evenly as possible. So if you do half a turn on one side, try to do half a turn on the other. It's getting a bit difficult trying to do this one-handed. So what I'm actually going to do is place you back there. So we've already gone on that side, we'll do the same on this side, and eventually what will happen is that there will be a click. Click on that side, means it's as tight as it needs to be. I've hit the right torque setting, and click on that side. There you go, 14 Newton meters on either side, which is perfect. And to finish off this side, I've got a little plastic cap screw. Goes in like so. Now I've got a little tool to help you do this. This is one of these proprietary Shimano pieces that they make. Simply screw that in. Until it's tight. Done. Now we'll once again we'll spin the bike back around the other side. One of the beauties of this Park Tool work stand that I've got is that it's designed exactly for this ability for you to just swing stuff around and work within the given space, rather than having to actually jump from either side. And then that is it. Done. Alright, so we'll go and grab the wheel. And all going to plan. Well, first things first, let's check to make sure that we've got all our connections upright. So the fronts are working and the rears are working. Look at that, it's like a charm. Now, ideally, you'd have this. You'd have this on the lowest ring. Makes it easier to go in. So basically, when you're looking to put a tyre back in, you always try to put the chain on the lowest possible sprocket, so that's easier to place in. Chain around that. Chain sitting on the low sprocket. Up. tighten her up. We'll probably have to finish this off on the ground, so what we'll do, actually, there we go. She is in on both sides, so let's just give this old girl a turn over. Right, let's see. Do we have movement? Yes, we do. All the way to the top. Perfect. All the way back down. Excellent. Have we got fronts? Yeah. Beautiful. Close off the brake. Done. Now, just to finish off this here, I'm just going to get some black tape. Now, normally I would just use some electrical tape, but on this occasion, I'm actually going to use this Gorilla tape, and the reason is that it tends to hold a lot longer, and I won't need all that much, to be honest. It'll literally be enough to basically hold this cable inside as much as I need it, and then tape it down. So there we go, that'll hold it into place. And then we'll just do a little bit more. Tears quite nicely to strips to hold down the rest. And that way, we should hopefully avoid the situation like I had last week where I managed to get this caught in the chain. This time around I should, in theory, have that secured. Now the other thing is that I don't have a rubber grommet that would usually fit into where the Di2 cable goes in, so to weatherproof that, again another low-tech solution. I think this is one of the things I probably enjoy about cycling the most, is the number of engineering solutions that you have to come up with to get around little problems like this. Now you can't go and buy these rubber grommets, I will say, but they don't tend to last, and they do tend to come out quite easily. So all I'll do is put another bit of black tape over the top of that, and that's it. It's sealed. Done. And that is a reinstallation of a Di2 cable. Thank you.